Before we dive into today's video, let me give you a quick warning. This video is about real talk and tough love and finding actual solutions. If you take offense easily or you only plan on watching a few minutes of this video, you're missing out on the opportunity to learning the key to why you are stuck in bad habits and why you haven't progressed with your goal. In order for you to take in this information and make any types of changes, you have to be open-minded and willing to humble yourself. Everything that I'm sharing with you today has come from my own personal journey. I have failed at losing weight more times than I can count. And it wasn't until I accepted the real issues behind my excuses that I saw any type of positive changes. So let's keep it real together and let's jump into it. My name is Marissa Don and welcome to the first video of my 6-week series. This series is to point out insignificant changes that you can make that lead up to significant changes. And that is the difference between people who are successful on their fitness goals and those who keep staying in that same cycle of, I'm gonna start on Monday. Would you rather be where you are right now in 6 months, or would you rather be down 20 pounds in 6 months? We have to let go of the idea that I need to lose 2 pounds every week consistently. A successful weight loss journey is totally normal for it to look like this. You have your wins, and then you have your fails, and then you have your wins. It's not just a straight trajectory to success. These steps are about gradual progress, not quick fixes. I didn't lose 100 pounds by any type of quick fix. I tackled one step at a time. I'll go ahead and link a playlist down in the description if you want to watch my journey from day one. I've had to figure out what works in so many different situations. And that's why I have quality advice, which we're going to be discussing in this video. If you feel like I don't hit on specifically what you are dealing with, then I have something for you. I went ahead and created a very quick survey, and it is linked down below in the description. If you want me to give you some advice on your specific situation, fill out the survey. I'll respond with personalized tips to help you recognize your unique challenges and how to break out of living in autopilot. My goal behind this video is to help you solve your core problem that's causing any type of failure or resistance in reaching your fitness goals. At the core of today's video, we're going to be focusing on how autopilot is holding you back from reaching your goal. What is autopilot? Autopilot is when you're going about your day and you're not even stopping to think about the choices that you're making throughout your day. Often, you don't even realize that you're living in autopilot until you take a step back to look at the big picture, and then you're like, wow, this was the problem all along. Mindset is so important because what you believe is what will happen if we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of things. It's important to start thinking about things differently, especially if you want different results. For example, getting up in the morning and going and getting that coffee from Starbucks. Do we know how many calories are in that Starbucks? Do we know how this is affecting us negatively? No, we're not thinking about it. It's just what we are used to doing. Autopilot is waking up every day and saying, I'll do better tomorrow. And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck. What is your excuse? Now, I am saying excuses, but we turn things into excuses, and that right there is autopilot. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to put out an excuse that I used in my past, and then we're going to identify the core problem. What is actually causing those excuses? And then we are going to come up with solutions. So let's get into our first excuse. The first excuse that I used a lot and I have heard other people say is, I don't have time. What I'm really hearing is, I feel overwhelmed and disorganized. So when we think about starting a fitness journey, we think about having to change all of the things. And it seems like it's just a lot to do. If this is you, your step for this week is to take out 30 minutes at the beginning of your week and to plan out what you have going on that week. Do the kids have any type of extracurricular activities? What time do you go into work? Are you having a family barbecue this weekend? Write down everything that is happening in that week. Be very specific. The only thing that I want you to focus on is, what would you usually do on those days for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Now I want you to journal and write out what you can do differently on those days. What can you do to make your meal 100 calories less? Could you opt for a side salad instead of fries? Could you go somewhere where you're able to get grilled chicken instead of fried chicken? Let's start out by just swapping anything fried with a vegetable or something fresh. In my opinion, the next two excuses go hand in hand. I always hear, I just don't have any willpower, or I just can't say no to certain foods. What I've learned when I used those excuses in the past was that I was relying on willpower rather than structure. So this one kind of goes back to the previous one. Write out your plan for the week and know what your week looks like so that way you can be prepared when going into those things. For example, if you are going to a dinner out with your family on a certain night, instead of relying on your willpower when you're at the restaurant, focus more on knowing what you're going to get before you even get to the restaurant. If you don't know where you're going until the moment that you're there, you can go ahead and look up people's menus online to see exactly how many calories are in there. Or if you don't want to mess with calories right away, you can definitely focus on swapping out things that you know aren't the healthiest for things that would be a better choice. If you find yourself having no willpower while you're at home, then you need to grab the bull by the horns, go through your pantry, and take note of what are not so great choices and what you could swap those out for that would be healthier and much better for your goals and more satisfying. If you have kids, I know that it can be difficult because the kids want their snacks and they want what they want. But if that is the case for you, then ask yourself, do I have anything in the house that I can gravitate towards that is healthier, will keep me fuller for longer rather than going for the kids' Cheez-Its? If your answer is no, then that's where you need to focus some of your energy. Another excuse that I hear, I wait too long to eat and then I binge eat. What I'm hearing with that excuse is poor timing and lack of planning, maybe a little bit hyper focus as well. It's okay to set an alarm on your phone to remind yourself to eat. Be prepared with body armor. Have your protein bars, have your protein shakes, have your meals that you purchased at the grocery store. Make sure that you are keeping a armor of healthy options around you. Set your timer on your phone and just freaking eat. That is a big part of self-care. You need to take better care of yourself. Saying you are too busy to eat is like saying, I'm too busy to breathe. Girl, you gotta eat. Make it happen. If you know that you're going out to eat and you're not going somewhere that has any healthy options, then what you want to focus on is eating something before you go. It is perfectly okay to have a meal before you go to a restaurant. If that means that you are going to show up and you're not going to be starving and you're going to make a better choice and just eat a smaller portion, then that's what you need to do. Remember, we're thinking outside of the box here. We're going to get into a little touchy topic right now. You take a lot of this blame and put it on somebody else, and that is your partner. So I hear the excuse, my partner detours my health goals and my healthy eating. I try to go to a restaurant and order healthy, and my husband doesn't, and then I want to eat what he's eating, so then the whole thing just gets blown out. Or my husband says, oh, you're making me feel fat if I eat this, so then I eat that. Yes. I've heard it. I've used it. I've said it. Don't you dare ask them to do it with you. That is a big no. If you are asking someone to do something with you, most likely they don't really want to do it. People are going to do things when they want to do things. So you have to be able to sever your health and your own personal fitness goals from anybody else who is tethered onto you. You and your fitness goals, that is you. You take care of yourself and you focus on you, and the rest will come. I would advise for you to just be a good example, not with the expectation that they're going to do it with you, but maybe reframe your mindset into thinking, I am going to be an example to my partner. They're going to catch on that I'm making these changes. They're going to catch on to seeing the changes that's happening within my body, and they're going to want to do it as well. And maybe they don't. That's fine. But if your partner seems to be like they're sabotaging you, so for example, my ex-partner used to make jokes when I would try and choose something healthy at a restaurant, and he wasn't doing it to be rude, but it like made me feel bad. Like I was sensitive towards this. You have to be vulnerable. Tell them, like, that doesn't make me feel good. When you say things like that, it makes me feel embarrassed that I'm trying to eat healthy. It makes me feel discouraged and it makes me feel like you don't care. Just have open, honest conversations. But again, don't blame, don't make it seem like it's their fault, because at the end of the day, whatever choices you make are your choices and no one can choose things for you. Another excuse, I don't know what to eat. If we're new to eating healthy and healthy habits, sometimes we just don't know what to eat. This is where it's up to you to inform yourself. And if you're watching this video right now, you're already on the right track. I'm going to be posting a video where I'm going to a grocery store and showing you what people would usually get and what you could swap it out with and the difference that it makes. So we will be talking about that later on in the 6-week series. Knowledge is power. And these are some things that I want you to know for this week 1 video going into your first week of making these changes. Learning to identify high volume, nutrient dense foods for less calories is going to be your biggest game changer. Understanding that food is the foundation for change. Let's say you have a greasy burger from a fast food chain, right? You can have this size, maybe 800 calories, or you could create a meal where you have lean chicken, a big side of veggies, a side of sweet potatoes, and if you're still hungry, you can have even more vegetables. You're getting a lot more food for 800 calories versus this little tiny burger for 800 calories. So that is the difference between calorie-dense food and high-volume food. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools when it comes to growth. If you didn't stick to your plan throughout the week, then this is where you really need to sit down and you need to reflect. Don't beat yourself up at all, but tell yourself this is an opportunity to learn. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? I went and I was starving, so I didn't really look at the menu and I just got my usual. You could have eaten something small before you got there. You could have gone to the restaurant already knowing what you were going to get. Think of every setback that you have as an opportunity to learn. Every time that you reflect, you're adding to your arsenal of tools to use when that type of situation comes up again. But if you don't take the time to reflect, then you're staying in that autopilot and likely you're going to stay right where you are making the same choices. I would be doing you a disservice not to talk about self-talk. Say you don't make the best choices. Instead of negative self-talking yourself, go back and reflect on what you could have done differently and then follow up with some positive self-talk. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I know what I can do differently. Tell yourself I learned something new that just doesn't work for me and I can adjust it in the future. These mindset shifts build resilience and help keep you motivated. I've already taken the first step by watching this video, and I am so excited to help you on this journey. Let's take it one step at a time together. Remember, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. I'll see you guys next week for the second video of the series. Happy New Year's, everybody. Going forward for this year, I have a mantra. I'm going to say it and believe it, and that is the year of getting the sparkle back. Because after having a baby, I definitely feel like my sparkle dimmed a little bit, which is okay. But I'm to the point where I just want to get back to feeling that sparkle. I'm going to make that happen. Comment down below what your New Year's motto is or what your resolutions are. A big resolution that I want to focus on this year is organizing my house.